It attacks your small intestines and causes prolonged diarrhea. The CDC is currently tracking a cluster of cyclosporiasis cases. It's a resistant foodborne parasite spread through fecal contamination that can live in water or fresh produce. So far, thousands of cases have been centered around some Midwest states and beyond, including Michigan, Ohio, West Virginia, and Kentucky. No cases in Washington have been linked to that specific outbreak. Our state typically confirms a handful of cyclospora infections every year, but with the cases surging to record levels in those other states and a mystery source, this outbreak is getting a lot of attention. To get some more insight on this parasite, I spoke with Dr. Sean Murphy with UW Medicine and Seattle Children's.
It's a real difficult organism to track sometimes because the diarrhea doesn't come till a couple weeks later, like a week or two later. That makes it different than norovirus, which happens much more quickly.
Dr. Murphy, I want to make it clear that the outbreak in the Midwest that we're seeing, it is not connected to Washington state as of yet. So that's good news. But because they don't know the source in the Midwest, I think it's causing a lot of fear, maybe some irrational fear among some of us who maybe open our fridge and say, should I be tossing all of our produce out? Is that the best thing to do or not?
It's a hard question to answer. I think in Michigan, it seems like the public health authorities are zeroing in on lettuce or bagged salads as a source. And in fact, that was a source of the same kind of outbreak in, I think, 2018 and 2020. So we'll see what happens as we find out more information about that. I mean, if you grew your raspberries in your backyard, you do not need to discard them. What I can tell you is you can't wash this off of salad. For example, you know, there are, I think on Instagram and whatnot, people talking about different ways to wash it off of things that they have. That's not recognized by the CDC as a way to decontaminate fresh produce.
One simple solution seems to be just cook your produce, right?
Sure, yeah. Cooking vegetables and cooking to 70 degrees Celsius or 158 Fahrenheit will inactivate cyclospora. And so that means for vegetables that can be cooked, maybe snow peas that you would have eaten raw, maybe you can cook them this week. Iceberg lettuce, that doesn't work.
When do people go to the doctor and when do they ask for a test?
Yeah, so unlike norovirus or those other things, this diarrhea can wax and wane, come for a few days, kind of go away, come back, and that could be confusing. You know, you think you're getting better. So usually the guidance for diarrhea is that if you have diarrhea that lasts more than, you know, several days, or if it's severe, if it's accompanied by fever or bloody diarrhea or severe abdominal pain, those are all good reasons to go to the doctor. Cyclospora can have a range of symptoms. Some people may have very mild diarrhea and then it will go away. And others, it might persist for 10 or 12 weeks.
We're talking about 3 months in some people? That's crazy.
In the what's recognized is that in people who are immunocompromised, the diarrhea can last longer. And so that sort of outer limit is what could occur untreated. We have ways to treat this. We use the drug called Bactrim to treat cyclospora, and so an untreated case could wax and wane for quite some time.
So some positive news there. There is a drug to treat it, and Dr. Murphy also wants to make it clear washing produce can reduce the amount of parasite present, but again, there's just no way of knowing if it all has been removed. It is always recommended, however, to wash your fruit and veggies for overall hygiene.